I I wasn't sure if it was going to work. Um, but I felt immediately comfortable with you in terms of you have a way of diffusing things in a comfortable way. And it was a great help to me um, to hear your perspectives and for your guidance. So I want to thank you for that.
It's been incredibly beneficial. And as a coach and as a mediator, you're bringing something to couples that they can't manifest on their own.
I was very pleasantly surprised that you have a way of easing us into some delicate territory. And I felt comfortable with that.
Having experienced these coaching sessions with you and the work that we did in between sessions has brought a much greater sense of hope and connectedness to my relationship with Mark, and that really meets my needs for love. And so for that, I'm really grateful.
So how many sessions have we had so far?
We've had 4.
4 sessions. And when you came to me, what were you looking for help for? Why did you come to me?
I would say we were not connecting as well as we knew we could, and we were seeking guidance to remind us how to get there.
Prior to me discovering you, John, Mark and I had a bit of a heart-to-heart, and the topic of needing time apart or splitting had come up, and that's not something that has been a part of our dialogue throughout our 21-year marriage. So for me, there was an SOS, and I knew we couldn't continue to go on without support, without help.
So where do you think your relationship was headed if you didn't get help?
It's hard to say, and for me, and I'm not certain that that would have been the solution. I just think that we needed, I feel that I needed sort of to be shocked out of the rut that we were in and to start to connect again and work toward the objectives of our relationship.
Yeah. From my perspective, I would say that without some sort of support or intervention, it can get really easy for us to start feeling resentment. And that to me is really scary.
Yeah.
And I didn't want that. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What did you try before coming to me, if anything? I don't know.
We really hadn't tried anything.
Mm-mm.
I mean, I think when we tried to talk, it would just go down, the conversations weren't productive.
We were both carrying a lot of emotion and a lot of energy around things that were hard to talk about, I think.
I think a lot of pain and a lot of loneliness and disconnection.
And I have to say that I wasn't sure if it was going to work. But I felt immediately comfortable with you in terms of you have a way of diffusing things in a comfortable way. And it was a great help to me to hear your perspectives and for your guidance. So I want to thank you for that.
You're welcome. Thank you. So you had a bit of an objection. Were there any other objections that were coming up when you started? Some reasons that you thought it wouldn't work?
I'm skeptical. And part of me was wondering if we really would benefit from involving somebody outside from between us, or not. And I was very pleasantly surprised that you have a way of easing us into some delicate territory, and I felt comfortable with that.
How about you, Amanda?
My only concern, myself coming from the NVC community, was that Mark might feel overtaken by two people who spend a lot of time practicing their communication and their language and their consciousness in a certain area. And when I brought it up to him, he said, no, I don't, you had no worry about that.
I'm not afraid of you NVC people. I hear that, and yeah, you do practice this with, and you have a huge, a very diverse and great group. But I found it easy to go through some of these exercises, easier than I thought it would be.
Yes. So after 4 sessions, what are the impacts of the work we've done together? What are the results?
I think we've been getting along great, or much better, and yeah.
It really, from my perspective, has really initiated a change in mindset, and it brought a different quality of attention to our relationship that we hadn't had before. Like, it helped me prioritize our relationship equally across, all of the other priorities that we juggle in our lives. So making the investment in the time, knowing that we had a shared intention of staying together, of, dramatically improving our relationship, our communication, our sense of connection, was what my hope was, and what I think we both experienced.
Yeah, we made it important to work on us. And even just the little reminders, like, quality time, date night, those things, while they sound formulaic, they did remind us to be with each other and to be present and to think about each other and appreciate each other. So I think that's been a big contributor.
And I would also point to the learning, the reinforcement of the redo too. That was huge. When Mark and I, or both of us together, find ourselves overstimulated and, too much in our heads and not in our hearts, that tool, I think, has been very meaningful for me to help lower the pressure, diffuse the pressure, and remind us of where we want to be. So for that, I have a lot of appreciation as well. That's really, really been helpful.
So how is your relationship different now, and where do you see it headed?
I feel like there's a greater sense of ease with each other, and I'm very optimistic that we're going to get stronger as we go forward.
Yeah, I get this sense that we now can talk about things that before I would have told myself I am afraid of bringing up out of fear of your reaction. And now I have the sense that I have the trust that we both have the shared intention, and that we are each responding to one another with an open-mindedness and an open-heartedness that I don't think either of us were really experiencing before we started. So opening the door to new conversations moving forward in a very connected way is something that I'm very excited about.
So last question, knowing what you know now, what would you say to anyone who's considering working with me but might be on the fence?
Talk to us if you want. I'm happy to provide a referral. I would say absolutely go for it.
Yeah.
Try it. It's
Definitely
been incredibly beneficial. And as a coach and as a mediator, you're bringing something to couples that they can't manifest on their own. At least to start, right? You help facilitate that in a way that is very hard for folks when they're in a tough, disconnected place.
Any final thoughts, either of you?
I just enjoy sharing my appreciation. So having experienced these coaching sessions with you and the work that we did in between sessions has brought a much greater sense of hope and connectedness to my relationship with Mark, and that really meets my needs for love. And so for that, I'm really grateful. I'm curious how that is for you to hear, John.
Well done.
I'm using my skills.
Yeah. It feels really good. It's very enjoyable to see the transformation happen. And when we started this session, and you came in and like, we're doing so well, we're having these great dates, and things are really shifted. It was very gratifying, and I enjoyed that. So, how was that to hear?
That was lovely, and I wish that for more couples. I wish that for all couples.
Sure.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. And that's it. Okay. So I'll turn that off. And I don't know how to end it. Just stop recording.